This is a film I have been very excited for. I'm not sure you have. The Moment, a mockumentary about one of my favourite artists. I have no shame about it, Miss Charli XCX.
When did she blow up?
Oh man, Charli blew up in like the early 2010s.
Yeah, early 2010s.
Okay, she's been around for a while. When Brat came out, it took the whole world by storm, right?
When did Brat come out?
2024.
2024,
Yeah, so
right.
fucking not that long ago.
I see.
And it was just so unexpected from her because up until that point, she was the boom clap girl, man.
Yeah.
Fault in Our Stars. She was very family friendly. And this album comes out. It's messy. It's very,
Dirty.
brash and dirty.
Yeah.
Very maximalist. And that took the whole world by storm. And I think that's what I respect about it because apart from the fact that, it's very much, it's a vibes kind of album. If you actually look into the reason why she wrote these songs and what she's working through personally, it's really fascinating.
Right.
And then just the themes of womanhood, that's what makes Brat so interesting. And I thought it was really cool that she actually made a film exploring that, both in a satirical way, but also in quite a, wholesome, like full-hearted kind of way, which I'll get into later.
I very much feel like this movie kind of pulled the curtains behind even just like the whole showbiz lifestyle.
Yeah, the music industry.
And the fame and what comes with that and the difficulties of it.
I feel like it also relates to, if anyone has had this thing, like in any art form, you have this one thing that is so successful and you kind of don't know how to deal with it. And you have to bear like the brunt of expectations and the weight of that. I felt this film explored that like in a really fun way. And again, it also hits when you like look more into the Brat lore, but just as an exploration of that, of like, art and the artist. I really enjoyed it in that regard.
She says at one point in the movie that she made that album on her own. No one else was involved.
No one had any expectations.
Yeah, exactly. And it blew up, and all of a sudden it was almost as if it was getting too big in itself for her to even handle and fit in her head. And even the what's his name, the Tim character, he's a great actor.
He's fantastic.
Their relationship, their dynamic of her, sometimes they're just sitting in the taxi and she just vents to him about how she's feeling, and you can tell that even the agent doesn't even know how to navigate the situation.
Trying to find the words to guide her.
Yeah,
there's only so much he can do being a part of the machine, really.
Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy from it if you are so enveloped in her and you know her already, but I don't think this movie did a good job at all, even just developing her character within the movie. And maybe it clearly wasn't set out to do that, but I would have liked to have seen her outside of this world, perhaps more at the beginning, to get me as a viewer who's just a bit of an outsider more on board with her story and her journey.
Yeah.
I think it would have made it then less of a niche story in itself. It would have opened itself up to be more of a general kind of following a musician's journey.
What you mean, like an exploration of the music industry?
Exactly.
In that regard.
Following a musician's journey.
Yeah.
And making it more applicable in a generalized sense, and rather than making it so focused on her and her lore and her journey. Yeah. And that's not what she wanted to do, and I respect that. Yeah. But I feel like it could have established this story in a broader scope that wouldn't have necessarily compromised her, showing her vulnerability and her personality in the movie. Yeah. That's one thing I really like is her acting. Yeah. I think her acting in the movie is great.
Absolutely, and that's another reason why I admire her as an artist. She's very blunt and honest. Yeah. And this film felt very, again, like you said, it is mostly, in the context of her her journey as an artist and as a person and the Brat lore. But I feel like this film felt very real in exploring her emotions. Yeah. I truly imagine, even though she's playing a fictionalized version of herself, this is how she feels some of the time. Mm-hmm. And I felt she portrayed that brilliantly.
Oh, definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Really, really well. There's a little moment I really love, when she's in the hotel in Ibiza. It's a very small moment, and she's screaming at them down the phone. She breaks the glass on her hand.
I like that.
And she's she's running it under the tap. I thought it was a very small moment. Yeah. But I thought it was brilliant in illustrating that. Or even after she's done the really weird tech demo, and she wipes that shot on the poster. Mm-hmm. She wipes the makeup from her face. Mm-hmm. Really great moments without any dialogue. Yeah. And I was very impressed by that. I think she's just so talented, man.
Yeah. Something I don't like about this movie is the directing.
Right.
I don't like the camera work. I think the camera work is incredibly messy. I know that's the point. It's supposed to be a mockumentary style. But I tend to like that style of directing. I like that style of camera work in general because it captures a more nuanced and messy,
like a real energy,
chaotic vibe. But I don't. I felt it was too chaotic for me. I felt like there were certain shots where they weren't lit properly. It was too grainy, and it sometimes even just the composition of shots. It got confusing sometimes. You would watch a scene and you kind of didn't even really sometimes know what was happening. I think it would have benefited from sometimes just giving us a little bit of a wide shot to show us what the fuck was going on.
Because this is like Aidan Zamiri's first film. He's worked just on music videos and maybe just something that's smaller scale.
Yeah, there's so many close-up shots in this movie where it's focusing on a character's face. And, when you're watching that for, 2 hours or whatever, it does get a little bit relentlessly, chaotic in that sense, in a negative way. Not in a way that I felt like...
you don't get
added to the chaotic nature.
No, I can see what you're saying.
I felt like it was an error. I felt like it was fundamentally
interesting.
A problem rather than something. I didn't feel like, okay, this is the point of it. I felt like there's certain moments where this seriously needs better camera work here, and that's fair enough. The guy is new to directing movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was just a part of the movie that I didn't like.
I completely see what you're saying, and this can be a cop-out sometimes. The thing of it's meant to be messy. I just brought into it because again, I am a fan of hers, and I know what this film is trying to do, it didn't bother me so much. I completely agree. Some shots, could have been framed a bit better, blah blah blah, but. I felt it was part of the atmosphere. It was this film made me feel very grungy and dirty.
Yeah, and that's the vibe, right?
I mean, for God's sake, I bought a buzzball to drink at the cinema. That's exactly what you should be doing whilst watching this film.
I feel like it's a movie that would be more it would be better enjoyed in your house, when you can pause it, on your TV, rather than a cinematic experience. I feel like it's one of those movies that...
Do you think this is a good crowd film? I think with the right crowd, this is a very good cinema film. But then
that's one thing that I don't agree with. I don't think it is a crowd film, really. I don't think there was... when it comes to the music, I don't feel like it... it focuses so much on showing her fragility and her vulnerability. In these situations, you're constantly going back and forth on new developments in the story. It never felt like it was kind of building into this big moment where the crowd comes together and it's like a real, she's justifying all the shit that she's gone through.
What did you think about the ending with her killing Brat Summer, in a metaphorical sense?
I suppose that's just her saying to the audience that that's what she wants to do, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I felt like it didn't really feel like a movie experience. But this was never going to really be a movie like that,
No.
It was good for what it was, and I feel like it will please a lot of people who are into her.
This is a film that is truly made for the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are, if you're a Brat fan, a Charli fan like me, you will get a lot out of this film.
Yeah.
But yeah.